My name is Catherine Tran, Spiritual Director for Creative Spirituality. As we've come up to the midpoint of our time together this week, we've been studying Brother Lawrence and his practice of the presence of God. And one of the questions that occurred to me that we all would be asking is, well, Brother Lawrence is a monk, and this is what he was supposed to do, spend his time in prayer and work. And we're not monks. We live in a very busy world. We have jobs that we go to and homes that we care for and friends and family and all those things. And how can we take the time and the focus that we need to practice the presence of God? Well, I thought about practicing that I did when I was a young child. And when I was 5 years old, I told my parents that I wanted to learn how to play the piano. Somehow I had decided that very young in life. And so they went ahead and bought a piano, and I began to take piano lessons. And for some reason, I was one of those kids that always practiced. And as I got a little bit older, the piano ended up in the basement. I think they probably didn't want to be plagued by all that practice. And so I would go down into the basement every day. For a half an hour, I'd set the timer, and I would get out my exercise book and my music book and all the different music that I was playing and spend my half an hour really focused on those things that I was doing. Of course, when you're learning how to play an instrument like that, the exercises are a very important part. You're learning how to move your hands and all the techniques that are critical in being able to play the music. As you learn the music, you begin to learn how to listen. You learn about the basics of music theory and how the music is made. There's a lot to learn as you're taking part in this practice. So the practice was a discipline that I enjoyed a lot and that I got a lot out of. And as I grew older, I became more serious about music, and my time for practicing became longer and longer till as an adult, at one point I was practicing 4 and 5 hours a day. And as I became more proficient as a musician, one of the things that I learned about myself was that I could call myself a musician. And to me that meant that my practice was bearing fruit. I had learned all those techniques. I had done all this hard work. I had done the repetition over and over and over again. Of course, you never stop doing that. But I had done all that practice and learned what I needed to learn. And now I was a musician. I could make music. I became a musician, making beautiful music and being creative in the process and engaging all those techniques and all that hard work that I had done already. So it was a great experience, and one of the things that happened for me was that I decided for me that this practice needed to be a spiritual practice as well. So I would go into my practice time with an intention of prayer or of examination or whatever it would be. And what I discovered was that in that intention, a lot of what was subconscious became conscious, and I could have a conversation with the unconscious and truly be a musician. Not just make music, not just go through the motions, but be a musician. So it was a great experience to integrate that in my life and to find that to be a spiritual practice as well as a joyful practice. Well, I think that Brother Lawrence is talking about very much the same kind of activity. I also did some of this practice in my prayer closet, where I would sit in silence and meditate for 30 minutes a day. And I discovered that it was very much the same kind of process. You have to learn the techniques. You have to do the exercises. You have to learn how to breathe. You have to learn how to center your being and be present and quiet and still. So you learn all the techniques. You spend the time the doing it over and over and over again, the discipline, all the things that it takes to sit.